Kev, we are back for another week, and I mean, dude, we're here. Like, this is the end. The end is so near. The finale party here in Hollywood is literally next week. It's like this week coming up, like yeah. This week.
Nick, we made it. We made it to the end here. I'm wearing the hat in tribute to Paulie. I don't know, or Paul. I'm trying to see how far back I can wear it. But yeah, can you believe it, man? We're here at the end of the show. We're down to 3 people, 3 house guests, and then they're crowning a winner here this week on Big Brother. It's crazy.
Day 92. I mean, dude, imagine everything that you did. Just think back to like June, right? Like, that is so long ago.
Yeah.
And then think that's when they entered the house. That's they haven't seen anyone. They have met no new friends. They have no clue anything about the show. They have no clue about what's about to happen to them. Day 92. They're about to be out of the house this week.
It's crazy. Tears, laughter, weightlifting, and that's just what's happened on our show, Nick. There's plenty of other things that have happened in the house, as they showed us today with one of the patented Big Brother montages that we got a chance to view.
Dude, I love these shows, but I gotta throw this out there, man. Like, I really enjoy these types of shows because it's I love the gameplay, I love all that, but like, these are just like fun. It's like there's so many episodes throughout the summer, and it's just really nice because they spent all this time to make it quirky and weird, and like, it's like not going to be like high pressure, and like your heart's not going to be pounding. You're probably just going to laugh. You know what this is? This is the rom-com episode for Big Brother. That's what this is.
I like that right there. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Nick. Every year, I don't look forward to the show. I feel like I'm going to hate it, and I watch it, and I'm like, you know what? That was pretty fun. That was
like a rom-com, see?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. No, I think you figured it out. You're absolutely right. It's the trip down memory lane, the cheesy setups of like, man, there were all these house guests in the house this year with crazy personalities. And then it's just, the setups are cheesy, but the clips are fun, and it's fun to, to look back and remember. Nick, there were people in the house. There was somebody named Glenn. There was somebody
girl named Bronte. Dude, I was like, what?
Yeah, there was a girl named Bronte in the house. Who would have known?
Yeah, Glenn. I mean, Glenn, because like, ironically, sometimes the first person to go home sometimes is sometimes the most memorable because you're like, that dude's going home first, and he becomes the point of interest for so many other things. The gray period is like the ones in between that and like number 7. It's like Josiah. Do you remember this? Like the Messiah. Like, yeah, well, we had so much fun with that.
He's one that was memorable because he was so ridiculous. But yes, Bronte. I think even Glenn to a certain degree. I actually forgot about Frank, and I like Frank on the show. But it's funny how quickly you forget, right?
Yeah, dude.
No offense there, Nick. You're still very relevant. But
yeah, bro. Yeah, tell everyone how easy you are. Hey, but you know what I didn't forget? I didn't forget to write notes down.
Boom, there we go. I knew you'd have them written down, Nick. I write my notes up here. You write your notes down there. That's why this show works so well.
It's because I need a hard drive for my brain because it is totally full all the time. I just need to put stuff on external hard drives. Here we go. Okay, all right. First note I wrote down, Paul final 2 with both. He made a final 2 deal with both. Yeah. I like it. I like it because he wasn't even trying to kid himself about like, hey, like both of these are probably not. They're not even going to like respect these. I don't even care. I'm just going to throw it out there by slim chance that one of them does follow through with it, which looks like James is actually going to do it.
Yeah.
Wise choice, has nothing to lose, might as well. I mean, whether they're going to rat you out to the other person, like, duh, like, you're all competing in the last HOH. Like, it's great strategy.
Paul's a player. He's always playing the game. It's a smart move, as you said, because even if Nicole talks to James, all Paul says to James is, oh, yeah, I'm with you. I'm just trying to make her feel safe. Like, you kind of have that out at this point. And, everybody is obviously evaluating it from the standpoint of what's best for their game. So no one's really worried about lying or not taking anyone at this point. We're so far down to it that, yeah, I agree. You might as well throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. And it looks like James is going to take Paul to the final 2. And, Nicole's evaluating her options.
It's the only point in the game where you're so soaked with lies that it actually doesn't matter. You're actually like back around to the beginning again. It's like a full truth circle. You're like, how did that happen? I say we're all lying to each other. Is that the truth that we're saying?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, I put on here, James loyal to the end. He says this in his DR session. He says, I'm loyal to the end. First of all, he was like never loyal to like anyone. And then he's loyal to the end. That's only like another 6 days.
Yeah. People in the house have very selective memories for what they're. See, here's my problem with the game at this point too. Now suddenly, everybody that's made it this far, every single move they did in the house, every single time they got up early, every single time they cooked breakfast for somebody, they're now building it. Oh, this was all my strategy, and this whole time had Michelle made it, she'd be like, oh, the tears and the sleeping was all my strategy. Like, you never hear anyone say, yeah, I just kind of slept through the first half of the show. And then I got lucky, won a few comps and somebody took me to the end because I suck at the game. Like, no one's ever going to say that.
The more and more I watch Big Brother, dude, I realize that a lot of it has to, having a strategy, you know what I mean? Like, thinking through stuff is good, but there is absolutely no way to, it is actually like life. There's just no way to control it. You can only sort of like make adjustments as you go along, and you can kind of navigate and whatnot, but there's a lot of chance out there. And like, it's so much in Big Brother, so much happens by chance. I think people reflect and they think, how did I get here? And like, I think their mind would explode if they just like really honestly just put it up for like chance. So they're like, yeah, that time that I talked to the basil plant for 2 weeks, that's what got me here. It's like, it's chance.
Yeah, I would agree with a large percentage of that. And even at the very first part of the show, like how they put you into the house, what bedrooms you get, like there's the, the butterfly effect to all of this. So I do feel like if you change one variable, then yeah, we'd have a totally different outcome. So it is hard to really predict.
Speaking of butterflies, this is my next note. Was the cry montage with Paulie crying at the butterfly, dude. First of all, it was hilarious. Second of all, a little scary. And then third, I just kind of enjoyed it. I was like, is he crying at the butterfly?
Nick, did his parents teach him this? Did he pick this up somewhere that like butterflies are souls? Because I've never heard of this before, and I doubt he created this. Is this a thing that's out there that people believe?
Never, dude, I live in the most spiritual Zen, drink this, take this drug, get in touch with your mantra city on the planet, Los Angeles, and I've never heard of this. I've never heard of the mantra of the butterfly being a soul. Like that's what makes it even more intriguing. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like, don't talk to the plants. They're the souls of the dinosaurs.
Whoa.
What?
That's good stuff. I have heard that before, actually, though. But let's talk about Paulie for a little bit. And I think, like, you actually brought this up on one of our shows. There's almost like a Star Wars thing to this, where he kind of starts out being this great hope that you enjoy watching, and now I feel like he's like this evil emperor, like yelling at women, and half of the montages they showed were just Paulie being a douche. We unfortunately haven't had a chance to do a show since the jury montage where he was kind of yelling at Day, but I'm just surprised. Like, he's not going to come across good there, yelling at Bridget and, yelling at Day and bringing up Day's daughter. It's just, he's very angry and very bitter, and it's not a good look for him. And it's really, after Corey being like the big brother golden boy, it's been a pretty far fall from grace from Paulie, from how he started this show.
Yeah, I feel like this dude just got put in a lot of really bad situations. I can't speak for him. I'm not him. I don't even know half the story, right? But like, when I watch these things, I'm like, CBS is really driving a note here. They need a villain. And the season wasn't really like villainous. And so they basically got to really extract anything they possibly can. Again, I don't want to defend this guy because I know people are like, well, he did this, he did that. A lot of stuff happened. But I feel like he has Star Wars, like Darth Vader syndrome.
Yeah. It's an interesting point by you, though, because I feel like if you just kind of stand back from CBS's point of view, I think they thought that Paul was going to be the like evil dick, that Paul was going to be the villain. And then I think CBS and the viewers realized he's actually pretty likable. So then suddenly they did, I think, have to be like, all right, who's our villain here? Because it's not Paul. Paul's likable. Paul's fun. He's got these catchphrases. I think they thought it would be him. I think it turned into Paulie with the edit.
There literally was no villain this summer. There wasn't like anyone that people like really disliked. There were definitely feuds between people, but there was no like, oh man, this person, like I can't stand them. The only people that you couldn't stand were the people that just turned out to be so annoying that you couldn't fathom watching them cry anymore. Again, getting back to the cry montage.
Are we talking about Big Meech right here? Let's throw it out here. That's who we're talking about. Let's just be honest here. We're talking about Big Meech, aren't we?
Here, you know what? I'm gonna draw a little pie chart here. Actually, I wrote down the people that cried this summer. So we had Paulie. Paulie cried. We had Natalie. She cried. And then we have Big Meech, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just draw this out here, okay? And then
I'm excited to see what you're going to come up with.
Here is the actual diagram that I drew here, okay? So that's the Meech.
That's your pie chart.
Yes.
Okay.
There's Polly right there, as you can see. It kind of looks like Pac-Man, just like, really eating away at it. Dude, she had so much crying footage. I mean, they could literally edit together an entire episode of just her, like, bawling. You know what? And I hope someone does this and posts it somewhere out on Reddit. And if you guys find this somewhere, please let me see it in the link below, like in the comment section. I would love just a crying montage of Meech.
Nick, hold on. This season was basically a crying montage of Meech. I mean, it really was. She was crying when she's happy, crying when she's sad. I feel like that she was literally always crying in the house. And Nick, she is not a pretty crier. She was crying or she was vomiting. There wasn't a lot of actual gameplay there. And I said this before on our show, I was thinking that they should get some sort of IV there for her, because I'm like, how is this girl have any water left in her body? It is all coming out of her eyes and occasionally her mouth.
Oh, man. Oh, dude.
But yeah, there was a whole tear montage. I mean, you kind of forget basically everybody in that house cried at some point.
Dude, I mean, people, like, that's the thing about this montage that I like. I kind of enjoy. I mean, look, I was in the house. I understand how stressful it is. I get it. I was actually thinking, like, man, if I ever went, long shot here, ever went back in the house, but who knows what kind of twist they'd bring in. We need a guy from Ohio who likes to talk about science. That's a twist for the summer. Nick, that's our guy.
It would be a twist.
Would that be a twist or what? Tell you. Whoa. But if I went back in the house, I was thinking, I think I would just be honest with my, like, interview with Jeff all over again and be like, yeah, dude, I'm going to cry. I'm probably going to cry at something just ridiculous. Like, the soil, it's so beautiful. Like, who knows, dude?
Did you have a moment in the house where you felt like you might cry? Was there that moment? Because they showed us basically that everybody had that moment.
I never had a moment in the house when I thought I was going to cry. I don't think I was there long enough to, like, really go into, like, the psychosis of Big Brother. The only time that I was actually, like, got really choked up is, like, when I was about to leave. I realized that I wouldn't be able to talk to my parents. Like, just, like I've always been able to reach out to them. Even if I didn't talk to them for a week or two at a time or whatever, or, like, a week, I always had the option. I could always pick up the phone, and that was, like, very comforting. And knowing that I couldn't have that was, like, a very stark shock, because it felt like they were passing away, because they were just like, you couldn't connect with, like, they're gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's a simulation, of course, but, like, that's how it felt, right? And so that's what was really kind of jarring.
Interesting. So did you ever think about maybe taking up a plant inside the house to make yourself feel better, Nick? Like
I did.
Bridget?
In fact, I was thinking of, like, maybe not a basil, but maybe more like a mint plant. And I would call it Minty McMintersons. Wow.
Okay. I mean, that would be a hard label to put on, like Bridget did, but
yeah, like Mr. Jenkins. Weird.
Yeah, super weird. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I've never been in the house before, so I've never experienced that. I'm sure it gets weird in there, but she's taken weird to a weirder level, a whole new weird level, by naming this plant and kind of carrying this plant around. It was an interesting look for Bridget.
It was like Wilson, but a plant. You know what I mean? It was like the vegan sort of, like, Castaway type thing going on here. Dude, it got weird. Like, and that's again why I really like these type of episodes, is because, like, you really get to see how weird people get throughout the summer, and how that really bizarre not being able to leave the house, not having any real friends for a certain amount of time, and that almost like the pressure cooker of stress inside that house. Just like it just annihilates people. One of the people that I remember that like I mean, holy crap. I mean, you talk about people like melting down. Tiffany's meltdown was like just like out, and we saw a glimpse of it again on this episode. It was like I forgot all about that. I totally forgot like how much. I mean, the Big Brother house just slammed her. I mean, just like wrecked her emotionally.
Yeah, I wonder how she's doing now. She seemed like she was a wreck after the show, and then now she's probably had a chance to watch her edit and get some feedback from the show. I'd really be curious to see if she's in the same spot because she was not in a good place when she left the game.
No, I think, I mean, for the most part, if it's in it, I mean, I was only in there for 21 days total. And so I think it's about, I'd say like maybe, say every 1 week is about a month to like normalize. It's like, it's that intense. So I'd say by now she's probably pretty cool, I would say.
Okay, good. I hope so.
Yeah, she's still just like crying in some corner. Another thing is I really like was Corey's powder in the shower scene. Like this is just weird but really fun. Like they kept throwing powder on him like, every time he was like, it didn't make any sense. But like I did that in my fraternity house. I just like that. That's just fun.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the montages. The only miss I feel like from CBS was James like film noir about the Crocs. Like it seemed like it was going to be funny, and then it just kind of went on a little too long. And it was obvious that James was like reading some prepared script that somebody gave him, that they thought it was going to be really funny, and there was no inflection. He was obviously reading it, and then at the end it was like, they're frozen in the fridge. Not that exciting.
I liked it, but I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on this one. It's not like I thought it was funny. But then it did go on too long. But the part that I found that was really interesting that it really did, I actually LOL'd. Like I actually laughed out loud was that they were frozen in the bag. I just like didn't see that coming. That was just like the best punchline ever. I was like, oh, they're in the freezer. That's great. They're going to be cold on his feet. And then they were like solidified like Encino Man. That was great.
It was a twist ending that nobody saw coming with the Crocs.
It was the twistiest twist of the summer.
That's right.
The other thing I wrote down here was the DR sesh with Bronte, and it was like a cryathon again.
Hold on, Nick. Who?
It's so funny. People still do that to me, right? Like someone will tag me on Twitter and they'll be like, who? And I'm like, oh, God. Like, it's like so, like, I've heard it so many times, like not even, it's so unoriginal. I can't even. I can't even, Kev. Where's my mocha frappuccino and pumpkin spice latte?
You should have told me. I wouldn't have thrown it out if you've gotten it so much. I had no idea.
It's just like, in the Big Brother world, there's like certain like Big Brother-isms. That's one of them. It's like, I'm going to be hilarious. You're going to say the name. I'm going to say who. It's because they went out so early. Okay, go. Do it.
Damn it.
Do it, Frank.
I fell right into one of the Big Brother-isms. Can you tell us some more? Because you've experienced these a lot more than we have. So what are some more Big Brother-isms?
I mean, that's that dude. Oh man. I mean, I'm gonna anything with like evicted, eviction. I mean, these are all like those are normal ones. I think this is one that just kind of like it was fresh in my brain. Yeah. All right. Here's the other thing that I wrote down here. I wrote down Victor and Paul Brosesh. I just thought it was fun. I really liked this. I mean, we knew they were kind of bro-y, but like to really like see the whole thing, we didn't see all the bickering and all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, I think that they formed a true friendship. You know what I mean? Like, for as much as we're so sick of that word, they really like became friends. You know, like that's awesome.
You know what I'm sick of this season, Nick, is the word friendship. Hearing it too much on the show.
Is that a Big Brotherism? Tell me more about it.
It's a Big Brotherism. But yeah, it did seem like they actually formed a pretty good bond there. And I mean, honestly, Paul is entertaining. He's been the one kind of consistent thing through this season. And I think that with him and Victor, it was a nice little play off each other. It was fun to see. How about the like CBS basically comparing Michelle to a cat, saying she was lazy, lying around the whole time, eating food on occasion. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you see how they edit these together of how they view some of these house guests. And it's pretty clear, I think CBS is not a huge fan of Michelle.
I would agree. But I super enjoyed with her, like Paul, like coming out and like all the sound effects. the editors have done such a good job with the the comedy has gotten like a 10 out of 10 for this season. Like seasons past, they're still doing a lot of traditional stuff, traditional editing and whatnot, and like this one, they really kind of they did some new stuff, and it felt more like webby and more fun. I don't know. I love the sound effect cat montage. I thought it was great. But
I would absolutely agree with you. And the What the Bleep competition recently here, really funny as well. And the Corey Harry Potter thing when they're posting all of the house guests and how long they've been in the house. I agree. Really funny editing, really funny stuff.
Speaking of Corey, I wrote down here, man, one of the harder things to watch in this was watching Corey get like boyfriend slayed by Nicole. I mean, it was like he said the wrong thing and you knew she was already mad. And then it kind of like, you're just like, God, every guy who has ever dated a girl has like been in that situation. And they're just like, man, God, now I gotta like convince you. And then I gotta like sit here and talk to you. Like,
tell us more, Nick. Tell us more.
Yeah, all the joys of being a boyfriend. I mean, like, I just felt for the guy. I was like, dude, you're in for it. You're in the doghouse, man. Like, this is just watching it was like unenjoyable.
Everyone's been in Corey's shoes, and like you can see, he's hanging out, and he's like, I'm gonna have to go inside and handle this. And you can see it like following her around and trying to make it better. And she just didn't want anything to do with him. And she's crying. Yes, I think every guy has been in Corey's shoes at some point.
They're like, hey, bro, dudes, I gotta do. Yep, you gotta do the thing. Okay, all right, go what you gotta do. I really like the Victor laugh montage. I've noticed this all summer. I have a friend, John, who laughs just like Victor. And every time that I hear Victor laugh, I think of my buddy John, and I'm like, it is so infectious. And every time Victor laughs, like, I laugh. It's just, there's something about it. And it's like not really evil. Like, I know they're really trying to find the evil card here. It's not. It's actually kind of hilarious. It's
a good infectious laugh. But yeah, they were kind of trying to spin it toward this like mad scientist, evil, annoying laugh. But yeah, I enjoyed it as well.
Speaking of Victor, if I had to vote right now, America's favorite player, Victor. I mean, come on, people. He's not going to – I mean, he can't win, right? Obviously, there's no more chances to come back. He came back in the house 3 times. I mean, talk about, like, unbelievable endurance, like, super spirit, like, great dude. I mean, dude, I just think if we're going to give an award to one person who's not going to win either first or second, it's Victor.
I think it's a good call by you. Absolutely. I think he's earned that here. I think he was popular inside the house, popular outside the house, all the way around. Yeah, and I was going to bring this up as well, Nick. It's crazy. We have 2 returners and 1 newbie. Kind of a stupid term, the newbie. But at the beginning of the season, it didn't seem like that was going to be the case. It seemed like they were gunning for the returners, and now we've got James and Nicole in the final 3.
I was going to say this, like in season 14, they had the coaches come back, right? And Boogie was gone really quick, Janelle was gone. But if you remember, like Dan went all the way to the end with a noob, and I'm wondering if the same thing will happen this season. But it seems like Paul is like as good as, if not better of a player than the returning house guest. So I'm again, very, very shocked. I thought all of them would be eliminated. I didn't think any of them would be around. I think the season actually taught me a lot about Big Brother and like, going back in the house and understanding just a little bit about Big Brother and playing it is a huge advantage over not being able to never playing the game ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get to some predictions? Or do you have the pen again?
I have the pen. I have 2 more things I want to talk about in my notes here. I love the memory, like. The like made it day 1 through 12, like like they'd been passing on. Like I just thought that was awesome. And then the cat comp, I think, is a super, really cool twist on comps in general. Like the laser and their cats, and they got a flop. Like, dude, that's just cool. And they're really upset. Like someone in the creative room is like, must be a cat lady. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I was thinking the same. Yeah, I would say the past 2 seasons. They brought some really new creative comps to the table. And I think this season too, they have. And the cat one is really funny, really clever, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Should we get to some predictions here, Nick? I'm looking forward to your wild and crazy predictions about neither the three house guests, neither of the three people left are going to win. And it's going to be
Glenn and Josiah come back in the twistiest twist and evict all the other house guests.
That would make a hell of a finale night. It is 90 minutes. They're building in 30 minutes for the Messiah to rise again, I think.
He just comes in, they lower him down, and they're like, and by anonymous decision, by Big Brother, Josiah wins.
That's it. Drop the balloons. Drop the balloons. It's done.
And Glenn gets second. What?
He does.
You go first. I got mine. I'm ready.
All right. So I think right now I'm going to say Paul's going to win. Paul's been playing the game the best from the start. I think the only scenario Paul does not win is if Nicole wins the final HOH, because I don't think she's going to take Paul. I think she's going to take James. I think if Paul wins, he's taking James. If James wins, he's taking Paul. If Nicole wins, she's taking James. So I'm going to go ahead.
That is also the scenario that I see working out. Now, the one thing that super shocked me was last year when Vanessa did not win and did not go on. I was floored when that happened. I was like, wow, I just did not. I mean, that was so shocking. So that might happen again this year, but it's almost like a 2/3. There's a 66% chance that it's going to be James and Paul. So the odds are in his favor. I think the only scenario, like you're saying, is Nicole wins this HOH. Only scenario possible. It's a slim shot.
Here's the thing that I like about this season is you could make an argument for any of the three remaining house guests. They should win. I'm not saying they're necessarily all even. I think probably Paul and Nicole are a little bit higher on the pecking order than James. But in past seasons, you have that one worthless player that everybody just pulls along because they want the easy 500,000. We don't really have that this season. We've got three good players, two experienced players, and Paul's played really well. So it should be a pretty fun finale because really anybody could win the money here. I think it's Paul's to win, but it's fun to have a season where it's not the random worthless house guests that are just stringing along, Yeah,
it's not going to be a lamp who wins and then someone who actually deserves the actual win. I think this particular season, if I had to rank them, right, and I could just say, here's, you three, I'm going to rank you, here's how, here's gold, silver, and bronze. I would say Paul wins, Nicole gets second, and James gets third. I think it's really weird that James is actually third. I think there were a lot of other people that played way hard, not harder, but just did a lot more. And I know this game is all about chance, or not all about chance, there's a lot of chance, right? I think Victor would have been a nice third, or second. I think if it were Paul, Victor, then Nicole, I think that would have been a very even match. Very even night.
I'm hoping that it's going to be Paul and Nicole because I think that's kind of the more heavyweight bout in the end where, James, I think it's going to be a little bit easier for either of them to make an argument that they should have won over James. The one thing I think goes in James' favor, I think he's very popular amongst the house guests as well. So that's something that could be in his favor, but it's just nice to not have a Liz or not have a Victoria that are in the finals, and then you just know that they're not going to have a chance to win. I think either way, we should have some compelling arguments on either side of who's going to take it.
I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember who won Big Brother 15?
Yeah, who was it? Oh, wait. No.
Who? Oh, man. I just, exactly, dude. Sometimes the winners in the end, you're just like, how did this even happen, dude?
Yeah.
How?
That was your season, right? 15?
That was my season.
So that was Andy that
You
won.
don't even need to say it. It's
Yeah. And then, but yeah, that was one where it was what? It was Andy, Spencer, and I think Gina Marie. And it's like, who do we give the money to here? Let's just, how about you? It's just like now I feel like, at least whoever wins this one will be worthwhile.
I totally agree. Of the three, at least no matter which way it goes, I'm going to be happy that at least one of them of the three has won. And so, all right, Kev, where can we find you?
I'm at KevSoup and KevSoup.com. It's been a blast doing these shows here all season. We will have a show to culminate and talk about the finale, absolutely. But to everybody that's watched us all season, who's commented, who's watched us, who's subscribed. Thank you so much. We do these shows because of you and the show, but because of you mainly and you who watch the show. So again, thank you all season for watching us.
I do it for the souls of the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
plants
right.
back here. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. Because you guys watch, it's actually why Kev and I continue to do these. We get really excited about making these. We really like knowing that there is an audience. And so thank you so much for watching these. We have so much fun talking about this because we love talking Big Brother. This is like a part of our whole summer. So again, thank you. You guys can find me on Instagram at Nick Uhas and on Twitter at Nick Uhas. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, which will be right here. Kev and I have talked about the fall season as far as doing the same show. We read a lot of comments, said do the fall season. We actually got on talking about Survivor too, but I think we're going to stick to Big Brother for now.
Yeah.
But so, again, thank you. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you really soon because the finale is coming up. And let us know in the comment section below who you think is going to win.